Hey guys, I got another video on this 2012 Chevy Impala. Today I'm going to show you how to do a transmission drain and refill. Now this video only applies to the 2012 and up Chevy Impalas because in 2012 GM switched over to the 6-speed 6T70 transmissions in these cars from the previous years, which had the 4-speed 4T65E transmission. So like I said, this will only apply to the 2012 and up Chevy Impalas. And this transmission does not have a serviceable transmission filter. There is one that is internal, but you cannot service it. The only way to service that is to split the transmission in half. So pretty much all you can do for maintenance on the transmission of the 6T70 is to do a drain and refill, which I'm going to show you how to do. The first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and pop your hood. Find your hood release, go ahead and push that towards the driver's side. Lift up on your hood. So with your hood open, you're going to want to locate your transmission dipstick, which is going to be right there below your air filter housing. So this is going to be the way I prefer to do this procedure. Some people do it differently. I've always done it like this. I've never had any issues, but I prefer to drain the transmission fluid with the engine and transmission cold. I usually let it sit overnight because when you start draining this transmission, you're not going to get all the fluid out. There's still going to be some old fluid remaining in the transmission. I believe this one holds right around 9.5 quarts total, but when you do just a drain, you're only getting around 5 to 5.5 quarts. I will measure to see how much does come out though. So that's why I prefer to do it cold, because if you do it warm, then you have leftover transmission fluid in there that's hot, and transmission fluid expands with heat. So when you start mixing your new fluid, which is going to be cold, with the old hot fluid, I feel like you're not going to get an accurate reading. So that is why I prefer to do it with the transmission fluid cold. The other thing I like to do is the day before, I usually check this transmission level because I want to see where it's at. Because when we start draining this, I always measure to see how much came out. That way I know I can use that as a reference to see how much we can put back in when we go to start refilling it. So like I said, the day before, go ahead and check this level. The only way to check this level is with the engine and transmission warm. GM says it should be around 86 degrees to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Anywhere in that range is a good temperature to check your fluid. I mean, if it's a little warmer, you'll be totally fine. So I like to just take it on, a 10-15 minute drive, get it nice and warm, and then check the fluid level. And the only way to check that fluid level is with the engine running. You want to be in park, and you also want to park on level ground. So I'll just go ahead and show you, even though the engine's not running, but like I said, you want to have it running, parked on level ground, and with the transmission warm. You're going to go ahead and pull out this cap with the dipstick attached to it. You're going to give it a wipe, and then you're going to stick it back in there, pull it back out, and you're going to check your fluid level here. And you want to make sure you're anywhere inside the crosshairs here. So you can see, even with the engine not running, we're sitting right at the minimum mark right now. But like I said, when the transmission warms up, this fluid expands. So this fluid level is going to climb once that transmission is warm. So with the engine warm, you just want to make sure you're within these crosshairs here, so we know we're good. That way we can measure how much comes out, and then we can go ahead and use that as a reference when we start to fill. So now let's go ahead and start with the drain procedure. So what's nice about these cars is you have plenty of ground clearance to where you don't even have to jack it up to do this procedure. But you want to go ahead and crawl underneath here more towards the driver's side, and then also get yourself a clean drain pan here, because we're going to collect the old fluid in here. So what you want to do is go ahead and locate your transmission drain plug, which is going to be right here. That's going to be an 11 millimeter. If you notice, our engine oil drain plug is going to be right here, so it's not too far from that. So you want to go ahead and locate that, and let's go ahead and just break that free with our 11 millimeter here. So get it kind of loose here, and then you can go ahead and slide your pan back under here. And then let's go ahead and twist this off the rest of the way. And we'll go ahead and let that transmission fluid drain. Okay, so once that gets down to a drip like that, we can go ahead and replace the drain plug here. Go ahead and slide my pan over a little bit. Just make sure you clean up this drain plug as well. And then we can go ahead and screw this in. Using our 11mm, we'll go ahead and just kind of get that snug. So get that kind of snug. And then we'll also torque it. But first, just go ahead and wipe off any excess transmission fluid there. And you're going to torque that to 80 inch-pounds or 9 Newton meters, which really isn't that much. So you can see it doesn't take much. So that's all there is to draining it. And if you notice, there isn't a spot for a transmission filter. Like I said, it is internally, and you cannot service it unless you take out the whole transmission and split the case and everything. So that's all we need to do down here. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and measure how much fluid came out. So we got our old fluid here, and then I got a couple empty oil jugs here with the sight glass. That way we can pour this in here and see how much came out. And if you notice, this fluid was pretty brown. Transmission fluid is supposed to be red, so it's definitely due for a fluid change here. So let me go ahead and fill up this jug here, and then we'll kind of measure and see how much came out. Try not to make a mess here. Okay, so that's pretty much the last of it here. Still a little bit coming out of here. But if you notice, looks like we are right at the 4.5 quart range, right around that area. So that's exactly what I'm going to go ahead and just put in when we go to refill here. Just want to make sure. And then you also just want to inspect, make sure there ain't any metal shavings or anything in there. This fluid still looks pretty decent. It's just a little brown. This is going to be the transmission fluid I'll be using. This is the Castrol Transmax. I got both of these off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for them. They were right around $23 each. As you can see, they are the 1 gallon size, so 4 quarts each. I went ahead and just got 2 because I wasn't exactly sure how much we would need. But as you saw, it was right around 4.5 quarts or so, maybe more. We'll have to check at the very end once it's all warm. But as you can see, this does cover the GM models here. And if you take a look at the dipstick, you can see this does take Dexron 6. And if I flip this over, you can see it does meet the specifications of Dexron 6 right there. So this will work perfectly in the GM transmission. So now we can go ahead and begin filling. I'm just going to use a long funnel like this. You can also get these off Amazon. I'll put a link in there for one of these. But just go ahead and set that in there. And go ahead and begin filling. Like I said, I'm going to use this whole 4 quart jug here. So I'll go ahead and just slowly pour this in. You just want to make sure you don't pour too much in to where it overflows down there. So just keep an eye on that. Go ahead and fill this whole one up here. Okay, so there's 4 quarts right there. And then I'll go ahead and add 1/2 quart of this one here. You can see it does have the sight glass there. So we're doing quarts, so I'll go down to this mark right here, the 3.5. That's 1/2 quart. See where we're sitting, a little more. Okay, so I'm gonna go about right there. So then you can go ahead and pull your funnel out of here once that's done draining. Go ahead and replace your dipstick and cap here. So what you want to do next is let's go ahead and start it. And what we're going to do is slowly run through all the gears here. So we'll go ahead and Go into reverse and just let it sit for a couple seconds here. Go into neutral. Shift into drive. You just want to get some of this fluid flowing through those gears. And then you can go down into low mode. So we're in low 1. We'll go back up to drive. Neutral. Reverse. And then back into park. And then I'm just going to do this one more time really quick here. So reverse. And back into park. So go ahead and let this run here. Let's go ahead and just kind of check our level and make sure we don't have any leaks. So just take a peek underneath here. You can see that's all dry. Make sure you're not leaking any fluid. And now, even though this isn't warm, let's just go ahead and check our level here with the engine running. Let's just see where it's kind of measuring at for right now. And then we'll take it on a little spin here, get it up to normal operating temperature. Pull it back out. And you can see, kind of hard for you guys to see, but you can even see it says check hot. But you can see we're right on the bottom of the dipstick. So right there, you can see it on my finger here. So like I said, we want to go ahead and get this warmed up, and then this should start expanding. Once we get it warmed up, if it's still not in the crosshairs, then we'll go ahead and add some fluid. So we'll go ahead and close this. So like I said, I'll go ahead and take this on a little bit of a drive. We'll get the water temp up to normal operating temperature. I'll probably go on about a 10-minute drive or so, and then we'll come back and we'll check our fluid level. Okay, so I took this on a little bit of a drive there. Looks like we went about 4 to 5 miles or so. And then you can see our water temp is at normal operating temperature here. So now let's go ahead and pop our hood. We'll go ahead and check our level. So now we'll go ahead and check our level here. Go and pull out your dipstick. Just be careful because it is going to be pretty hot now. Go ahead and give that a good wipe here. Stick it back down in there. Pull it back out. Let's go ahead and check our level here. So if you notice now, we are, looks like just a little bit above the halfway mark, so about 3/4 up the crosshairs here, and that is perfect. If I flip it over, you can see kind of the same thing right there. So you just want to be inside these crosshairs. And what's good is we're not at the fully max line there, so that gives us a little more room. If this transmission were to get a little bit hotter, this fluid would expand right up to the max. So I'm going to call that good right there where we're at. So we'll go ahead and stick this back down in there. And I just want to show you here. So if you take a look, this is the one we totally emptied, so the 4 quarts, and this was the other one. But now that it's on level ground here, you can see I actually went below the halfway mark there. So this is going to be right around 4.75 quarts, almost 5 quarts is what we ended up sticking in here. All right, so that's going to wrap up the video. Again, this was a 2012 Chevy Impala with the 6T70 transmission. Went ahead and did a drain and refill on that. Super easy to do. It's almost easier than doing an oil change on this car. It takes you maybe 15-20 minutes at the most to get it done. So hopefully this video helps you out. If it does, hit that subscribe button. I got a ton of videos on this car alone. Check those out when you get a chance, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.